Feelings versus facts. Do you know the difference? Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to another video. I'm Ann Blackwood, your Silicon Valley Sage Sister, here to bring consciousness to the forefront of your daily life to make life a little kinder and simpler. I have gotten myself into quite the conversation online, and it's rare that I engage in commenting on other people's posts, let alone thread conversations. But just the other day, somebody that I follow posted this, and it sparked quite the conversation. There were a lot of people saying, "Oh my gosh, yes, so great you posted this, so glad to hear it." There were other people being like, "Whoa, wait a minute. What is this? We didn't expect this of you." I'm not going to say who posted it. But either way, what ensued under even a comment of mine was very interesting, because there were a lot of people who, especially because of this Don't Say Gay bill that's come up, which is really called the Parental Rights and Education Bill, have had a lot to say about what children learn in school. And one of the comments under my comment that was directed at somebody else was about how the only natural way to have a baby is through a man and a woman. And I thought this was very interesting, because this person ended up using the word unnatural at some point, and that appears to be what set everybody off. But the reason why people got set off wasn't because they don't understand that the only natural way to have a baby is through procreation of a man and a woman. We all understand this. What happened, as far as I can tell, is that the word unnatural sparked everybody who was upset by it, because all of a sudden the word unnatural no longer means the opposite of natural. It means bad. It means unworthy, not good enough, bad, basically. And so that's why I want to talk about this today, because we have lost the plot, quite frankly. And this is coming from me, someone who is very spiritual, who believes that we can change a lot of things about our lives if we put our minds to it. But that said, there is a difference between facts and feelings, and not all facts. Actually, I shouldn't even say not all. Most of the time when people are stating facts, that's not a judgment, especially in the community that I'm in. When we state facts, there's no judgment involved. We're not saying anyone is good or better or worse or less than. We're saying these are the facts. These are the things you can't change about living on Earth in this 3D reality. And yet people insert their own assumptions, judgments, feelings, definitions into the sentiment, though they are not actually there in reality, which is why I like to remind people all of the time, the only meaning anything has is the meaning you give it. And so, no matter what the intention of the original writer was, that doesn't matter. What matters becomes the interpretation. What ends up, how would I word that? What ends up mattering is the interpretation of the reader. Because through that lens of all of a sudden thinking anyone who says the only natural way to have a baby is through procreation between a man and a woman all of a sudden is homophobic. I got called homophobic. I get called a bigot all the time for stating facts. It's pretty interesting, actually, because there is no judgment behind my stating of the facts. So it's interesting to watch other people insert their feelings, judgments, and assumptions on my statements of facts, which is why I felt like this was important to talk about. And why I try to remind people all the time that we make a lot of assumptions that we don't realize we make. So all of a sudden, this person under my comment pointed towards somebody else who commented, said, the only natural way to have a baby is through the procreation between a man and a woman. And all of a sudden, this person is like, you're homophobic. It's like, nobody was talking about relationships at all. No one was talking about sexuality. That never came up. What we were talking about specifically under my comment was that we thought it was inappropriate to be teaching sexuality to children, especially under the age of 12, and that if you want to teach the biological facts of how a baby is made to children 12 and up, keep it academic. Keep it at the level of biology. And that's not promoting heterosexuality either, which I was accused of somewhere in that comment thread. I don't think sexuality at all should be taught to children. And one of the things that I pointed out to these people in all of this was that nobody, at least under my section of the comment thread, had a problem with gay people, straight people, alphabet people of any kind. No one was even talking about that. What we were talking about was how that particular post sparked emotion in a lot of people because the Parental Rights and Education Bill was just talked about and brought into the public awareness. And something that's really been upsetting people is that there have been teachers trying to share like literal pornography with first and second graders. This has been proposed. So I really want to start bringing awareness to how we react to things. And awareness to the fact that unless you've spent a long time training yourself to see all of the different possibilities in something, you're probably only seeing through your lens. And that's going to give you a very limited scope on what this person, especially when you're reading somebody's comment online, is saying. For instance, this says, teaching people that some kids can have two dads isn't trying to make them gay. Technically, I have two dads, and neither of them are gay. I don't think we should be teaching kids about any of it in school. I don't think that there is any place, in a place that's meant to be teaching kids academics, for teaching children about divorce. Because that's why I have two dads. I have my biological father, who helped give me life, and I have my stepdad. And I love them both. I have two dads, neither of them are gay. So me explaining to people that I have two dads isn't trying to make anybody gay. Nevertheless, I don't think teaching kids about divorce in school is appropriate either. I think school, especially elementary school, is for teaching children reading, writing, arithmetic, maybe some history. But if you're going to even teach kids history, I think that should be from a very neutral lens of facts. But we seem to have lost the plot on what is a fact, because it seems like nobody can come to terms with these days facts without trying to insert their feelings. And we have a problem where that's concerned, because facts aren't here to hurt your feelings. And if you are hurt by a fact, like the only natural way, natural meaning without technological intervention, the only natural way to have a baby is through the procreation between a man and a woman, if that offends you, you've got bigger problems that need to be sorted out, because that is a fact. That is straight up a fact. There's no feelings about it. That is just plain and simply the way it is. It's not saying that anyone is more or better or less or worse. It's not a commentary on gay or straight. It is a fact that if you want to make a baby without technological intervention, it requires a man and a woman. A real biological female and real biological male. And anybody who is offended by that has a lot of growth and healing and spiritual work to go. So the next time you find yourself offended by something, I want you to ask yourself, why am I offended by this? Is it possible that I'm offended by this because I'm asserting assumptions into this? Because, again, the person who made the comment about the way naturally babies are made, they weren't commenting on anything being good or bad or right or wrong. They were making a statement about facts. And so the fact that I was called a homophobe, the fact that the other person who made the comment about babies naturally being made were a homophobe, that was that person putting their lens, their assumption into why we were saying what we were saying, rather than just addressing what we were saying. And this is how we get ourselves into trouble. So, at a minimum, if you can find yourself, when you're upset, slowing yourself down enough to start noticing where you've made assumptions about something, by just analyzing the words. What are these words actually saying? Not what do I think they mean, but what are they actually saying? And just start there. Do this in conversation. You might find that you end up being offended a lot less if you stop to actually listen to what someone is saying and then ask questions if you have assumptions. Who knew that was possible? Rather than making assumptions, ask questions. That's what I do. When I'm not sure what someone means, because it could have more than one meaning, what they're saying has more than one meaning, potentially, I ask them what they mean. I ask them to clarify. I ask them to elaborate. Because I don't want to make an assumption about what they mean. I want to know what they mean, so that we can actually have a conversation about what we're trying to talk about. And lastly, while we're on the topic of throwing our feelings and opinions around online, if you follow me on Instagram, you might have seen that from time to time I talk about how I don't want to hear somebody's opinion on something when they don't know what they're talking about. We all could benefit from a little more research and a little less stating of our opinions. But especially, and I use the Don't Say Gay bill as an example here, especially if you don't know what you're talking about, you shouldn't be expressing your opinion online. And an example of this is, for instance, I heard a lot of people who were talking about the Don't Say Gay bill because they had heard something about it online when they didn't even bother to go read the bill. They didn't even know what it was called. They didn't even know it was called the Parental Rights and Education Bill. They didn't know what it was about. They just heard somebody else talking about it and went, oh my goodness, I need to share my opinion on how I feel about this. When they don't know what this is. And the fact that's become people's reaction, the fact that we have gotten to a place where people think that other people need to hear what they have to say about something before they even themselves know anything about it, it's a big part of why we are in the trouble that we're in now. So, the last thing I want to ask of you all is to, before you decide to speak your opinion on something, educate yourself on it. Actually educate yourself on it. Don't assume that you know what you're talking about. Go look it up. Spend some time researching it, because you would be surprised at all of the things you don't know about the things that you think you know. Thank you guys for joining me for another video. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to check out all the links in the description. That includes my Patreon, where you can sign up for one of 4 different membership tiers, starting out at as little as $11.11 a month, going all the way up to $133 a month. I have my Awakening tier, which has all sorts of amazing guided meditations, journal exercises, individual videos on different spiritual and practical topics when it comes to making your life happier and healthier, kinder and simpler. Then I have the Ascending tier, which is the Awakening content plus the Ascending content. That includes everything I talked about before, plus my workshops, courses, mini-series like Spirituality 101 and Spirituality 2.0. Then I have the Sanctuary of the Awakened, which has all of the Ascending and Awakening content, as well as what I call my Sanctuary of the Awakened content. It is my VIP group, where we get a little awake, not woke, a little red pilled, a little OG conspiracy theorist, a little worldly, a little personal. Otherwise, I like to keep my personal opinions to myself outside of the Sanctuary of the Awakened. And then I have the Enlightening tier, which has the Ascending and Awakening content, plus a session with me once a month usually via Zoom these days, but one-on-one, face-to-face, as well as access to the Voxer direct messaging that is there for all of my clients to ask questions in between sessions. Then I have my session packages. You can sign up for those, and that commits you to a certain number of sessions, and then how often we work together. And what we work on is customized, personalized to you and your needs to help you end the cycles of suffering in your life, heal, grow, expand your consciousness, and activate that mind, body, spirit potential. If you have any questions about working with me one-on-one, you can sign up for my free clarity call or shoot me an email. Those are in the description as well. I also have the links to dōTERRA and dōTERRA Witches in the description. Another thing is that you can use the free clarity call to sign up for a dōTERRA wellness call. So if you have any questions about dōTERRA, want to get set up with our new custom enrollment kit, which gives you a free year of membership with a purchase of $150 of anything you want, you can go browse dōTERRA first and then sign up for my free clarity call, or you can just use my link to dōTERRA to sign up for that membership, which is only $35 if you don't use the custom enrollment kit. And then you can get whatever you want that way as well. Otherwise, we also have other enrollment kits, which are fabulous, over on dōTERRA's website. What else? Yeah, a bunch of other links in the description. If you're enjoying my videos here, I know you'll enjoy all of the links in the description, so don't forget to go check those out. And as always, may the energies you serve you well, and let's keep making our way through.